Shadows in the neighborhood. In the quiet, tree-lined streets of Westfield, a small suburban town, Sandy had always felt safe. She lived a simple life, working as a librarian and spending her evenings tending to her garden. But lately, something felt off. Strange occurrences had begun to disrupt the peace of her neighborhood. Whispers in the night, shadows moving where there should be none, and an unsettling feeling that someone or something was watching her. The Coven's secret. Sandy's unease deepened when she learned about the Coven of Westfield, a secretive group rumored to practice dark rituals. The Coven was led by Marcus, a charismatic but sinister figure who had moved into the neighborhood a year ago. Marcus had a way of drawing people in, his charm masking his true intentions. But Sandy had always kept her distance, sensing something dark beneath his polished exterior. One evening, Sandy's neighbor, Lila, confided in her. Lila had been part of the Coven but had recently left, terrified by what she had witnessed. "They're not just practicing rituals," Lila whispered, her voice trembling. "They're sacrificing people, and they're targeting our neighborhood." Sandy's blood ran cold. She had heard rumors of missing pets and unexplained illnesses, but she hadn't wanted to believe it. Now, the evidence was impossible to ignore. The sacrifice. A few days later, tragedy struck. Tony, a local handyman and a kind soul, was found dead in his home. The police ruled it a heart attack, but Sandy knew better. Tony had been healthy, and his death was too convenient. She suspected the Coven had something to do with it. Lila confirmed her fears. "They needed a sacrifice," she said. "Tony was in the wrong place at the wrong time. They're using his energy to fuel their rituals." Sandy felt a surge of anger and helplessness. How could this be happening in her quiet town? She knew she had to do something, but she didn't know where to start. The spirit's warning. That night, Sandy had a vivid dream. She saw shadowy figures gathered around a bathtub, chanting in a language she didn't understand. The water turned dark, and a spirit emerged, its eyes glowing with malice. It spoke to her in a voice that echoed in her mind. "They are coming for you. They want your light." Sandy woke up drenched in sweat. She knew the dream was a warning. The Coven was targeting her next. The battle for the neighborhood. Sandy decided to take action. She reached out to Father Michael, a local priest known for his knowledge of spiritual warfare. Together, they devised a plan to expose the Coven and protect the neighborhood. Father Michael explained that the Coven was using dark magic to manipulate the legal system and cover their tracks. "They've made oaths to their master," he said, "but their time is running out. The spirits they've summoned are turning against them." Sandy and Father Michael organized a neighborhood watch, encouraging residents to stay vigilant and report any suspicious activity. They also held a prayer vigil, calling on divine protection to shield the community from the Coven's influence. The turning point. One evening, Sandy noticed strange lights coming from Marcus's house. She called the police, but they dismissed her concerns. Determined to uncover the truth, she and Lila decided to investigate themselves. What they found was horrifying. In the basement, they discovered an altar covered in candles, strange symbols, and photographs of neighborhood residents including Sandy. Marcus and his followers were in the middle of a ritual, chanting and swaying as the air grew thick with dark energy. Before Sandy could react, the spirits she had seen in her dream appeared, their forms flickering like shadows. They turned on Marcus and his Coven, their voices a cacophony of anger and betrayal. The Coven's own magic had backfired, and the spirits they had summoned were now consuming them. The aftermath. The police arrived to find Marcus and his followers in a state of shock, babbling incoherently about spirits and curses. The neighborhood was finally safe, but the experience left Sandy shaken. She realized that the Coven's downfall had been their own greed and arrogance. They had sought power at the expense of others, but in the end, their darkness had consumed them. The lesson. Sandy's journey taught her the importance of vigilance, community, and faith. She had faced unimaginable evil and emerged stronger, her light unbroken. But she also learned that darkness often hides in plain sight, and that true strength comes from standing together against it. As she looked out over her peaceful neighborhood, Sandy vowed to never take her safety for granted again. She had seen the shadows, but she had also seen the power of light, and she knew that as long as she held onto her faith and her community, no darkness could ever prevail.